Hi, welcome to another class of file handling in Java. In previous sessions, we have seen how to create a file and using file writer object and using file reader object. Now, file writer is used to write data into a file, whereas file reader, obviously as the name indicates, it used to read data from the file. Today we are going to learn about another object, another class, buffered writer. Though we have file writer which directly interacts with a file, but if you have more number of write operations, for example, you have 100 names and you have to use fw write something, write another 100 operations. When you have small pieces of write operations, instead of all that, you can use a large chunk of buffer to directly write. So, buffered writer object will help us in that scenario. So, when we have a large number of write operations, then it is always better we use buffered writer than file writer. Buffered writer uses a buffer, an internal buffer for writing, and file writer directly interacts with a file, but buffered writer needs a writer object. It may be file writer to interact with a file. So, this is about buffered writer, very useful when you have a large number of write operations. Now, let us see what are the constructors of this file buffered writer. So, there are two constructors here, two constructors. Number one, buffered writer some name BABU is equal to new buffered writer and a writer object. And the second constructor is that you can mention the size of the buffered writer with the second constructor. So, new buffered writer, in addition to our writer object W, will be using the size, let us say buffer size. So, this is our two constructors. These are our two constructors. Next, methods. If you remember, what were the methods we have seen in file writer? Number one, write method with a character. Then number two, write method which will write a character array, and number three, write method string. These three methods are also present in buffered writer method, and also in file writer we have seen flush, which will help us to write till the last character, nothing will be left out, and close method. In addition to this, another method which is there in BufferedWriter is new line method. In FileWriter, if you want a new line, you have to insert explicitly /n, the new line character. But in BufferedWriter, we have a specific method which we can use. So let us go directly to the program, and let me create a new class. Let us call BWriter demo. BWriter demo. So first of all, main method, and in the main method, first of all, I have to create FileWriter object, because use of BufferedWriter needs a writer object. So FileWriter, let us call it FW is equal to new FileWriter, and I am using a new file. I want to create a new file. Let us say bw demo.txt. bw demo dot, it is not allowing me to give my own names. bw mo .txt. So this file that is not there in my folder, so here bw demo.txt I have already, I'll make it 1.txt, that is not there in my folder. Now I will create it. So next, it is showing me some error. What is that error? Our user unhandled exception. So already we have seen we have to throw, because file handling operations throw IO exception. So we have to mention it using throws keyword, throw IO exception. So let us import that. Import java.io.io exception. Then now I am going to use BufferedWriter. So let us also import that java.io.BufferedWriter class. So next, create BufferedWriter. W, maybe small w, is equal to new BufferedWriter, the FileWriter FW. As we have seen that FileWriter objects can directly interact with the file, but whereas BufferedWriter objects, they need a writer object. So that object I am providing here in the parenthesis FW. Now I can use whatever the methods. What are the methods that we have seen? Write character, write character array, write string, then new line, flush, close. Now let us see one by one. W dot write. Now let us say 97. What it will print? The corresponding code, small a. Then I will use w dot new line method, L capital. Then I will write 98. then I will write 99, then I will write 100 with new line, then we will see, let us use flush and let us close. So, here there is an ambiguity, shall we close W or shall we close FW? W is a buffered writer, FW is a file writer. So, shall we use FW dot close then W dot close, or first W dot close then FW dot close? Actually, when we close buffered writer, obviously this will be implicitly closed. So, we need not explicitly state that W dot close will close FW also. Now, let us run this program. Now, check our folder. Now, there is a BW dot demo 1 which has A, B, C, D, 97, 98, 99, 100, printing a character using its Unicode. Then we can use a character array, maybe char ch is equal to file W dot, what's happened here, missing some code, W dot write bracket ch. So, that is an array. If you see this, there is a file FILE, the character array that we have seen. Now, let us try to print a string. So, we can directly mention that W dot write a string in between double quotes. Hi, this is file handling class, and let us use W dot new line method, and again new line method. Let us use another string. File handling is present in java.io package. Now, let us check. Yeah, and this is your output. In the file, it is printed. So, in this class, we learned how to use a buffered writer to do the same work which we have done with file writer, writing data to a file. The only new thing is a new line method, and we have to use a writer object. It is especially useful when you have large number of write operations. If you have only few number of write operations, it is always better to use file writer, because buffered writer has more overhead when we have only few number of write operations. We will see about file reader, buffered reader in the next session.